released a read-along book and audio sets on vinyl record. Well, I whipped that up in Photoshop. If there was a 70s or 80s style read-along record of Zootopia, like story and song, how after the story plays out, it would conclude with a edited version of Try Everything, like a lot of the read-alongs used to do, with one or two songs from the film.
Right.
Complete with see the pictures, hear the record, read the book. Right. I'm sure a lot of you may remember those.
Yeah.
And they also offer them on cassette as well.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, and this Photoshop we did of Zootopia was released on VHS, specifically in the Classics collection with that Black Diamond logo.
If you were born after like 1998 or so, you might never have seen.
Yeah.
My family has a collection of them.
Days before Netflix and DVDs, if you wanted to see a movie, you had to go to something called a video store.
Yeah.
Blockbuster, yeah, rent one of those.
Collection. It would have opened with this before the film.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Disney's animated storybooks. Anyone remember those? Like it was a CD-ROM. There were CD-ROM games that was like an interactive animated storybook that retold a Disney movie, and they have mini games in it and stuff. They did them of like, let's see, The Lion King, Pocahontas, and Toy Story, the Winnie the Pooh featurettes, 101 Dalmatians, Mulan, and The Little Mermaid, etc. So I whipped up one for Zootopia in Photoshop.
Awesome. Thanks.
I bet a lot of us, like, even at our old age, we buy what that.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. It's really awesome.
You're welcome.
So before I turned over to tokala, I did this fun little countdown here of like my favorite moments from Zootopia. I was going to be 10, but there were a few others I wanted to include. So number 13, that noise the elephant at the Jumbo's Cafe makes when he's spraying the peanuts onto the ice cream. Can't really do it, but it's like, it's just so funny. Let's see. Of course, Flash's laugh. One of the most I think people, even people who haven't seen Zootopia, I think probably know that clip. I love like the 5 seconds like after
Scene.
I love the way Flash slowly turns that smile.
When Finnick cracks up after Judy hustles Nick. Love that part. Francine. Happy birthday. Love that. Number 9, that dumbfounded expression on Nick's face.
Last summer, Maurice LaMarche.
Number 8, when they're taking Judy and Nick back, and one of the polar bears just pulls out his phone and you just hear oh. So funny. Number 7, when Judy's trying to point out to Clauhauser that he has a donut stuck in his neck. He's like, in your neck? Love that. Number 6, when they're at the Mystic Springs Oasis, and it shows the giraffe just immediately swats down the volleyball. That's so funny.
Mattress Club.
Number 5, when Judy accidentally slaps Bellwether's wool and Nick is like feeling it. Number 4, just when it cuts away and you see all the polar bear henchmen there. That's just one of the best set gags. Number 3, Clauhauser catches Bodo on the controller. not now. Gotta love it. Number 2, really sweet moment there when Nick forgives Judy. Just really heartwarming. I love that part. And then number 1, that just gets me every time. I love the expression on Nick's face. It's like he's finally like genuinely happy for the first time, and he's really like grateful to his friend Judy for helping him become the fox he always wanted to be. And I just love this quote to wrap up here. Zootopia is a film about recognizing that our world is complicated, that life is complicated for all of us. The film also says that the challenges we face each day are made bearable by leaning on one another and learning together. So I thought that was a really nice way to sum it all up. All right, so now I'm gonna turn over to tokala, and I will work the slides here.
If you don't mind, thank you. So first of all, thank you for letting me talk here for a few minutes.
Absolutely.
The artwork right here is, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Recurrent. Beautiful artist. She's done a lot of art for me, including my persona art, and this is art that was specifically commissioned for me as ideas for Werewolf Nick. So playing around with either Officer Werewolf Nick, which I ended up doing, or just traditional. And I had like a little Twitter poll, and whoever got the most votes I ended up running with. So that's why I ended up with Officer Werewolf Wild. Just wanted to post that up there. That was my inspiration. And Zootopia actually has a really special meaning to me because I was a furry since high school, but I was just so nervous to join the fandom. There's like stigmas with it, and I don't know, I just kind of kept it to myself. And when Zootopia came out, and I saw the trailer, and all of a sudden you start hearing about all these furries, so I reached out to Cirrus, who runs the Rhode Island group there, and I attended my first Rhode Island Fur Bowl, and since then I've just like run wild with it. I started going to cons. I believe this is my third con at A&E. Done Fur Park, movies. It's been a blast. So
And then that shit started last year's Boston Comic Con.
Yes, yep.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely special call to Cirrus. Incredible leader for the Rhode Island group there. So anyways, after joining the Rhode Island Furry group, I also worked at Hasbro for 6 years, and I was designing toys there, and it's a lot of creative folks. And without so much saying I was a furry, I kind of let on that I was, and they really inspired me. Like, okay, you know, do this, do that, make a Nick Wilde suit. So I'm like, you know what? Sure, I'm gonna go for it. One thing was when I tried to make, I just couldn't. It was just, you gotta leave it up to professionals. In my opinion, I'm not that good with furry parts, so I ended up commissioning all the fur, like the face, the paws, the feet. There's just some things I found that I just left to professionals. It is very difficult. With that said, I loved making props, so it was one of my special passions. And I specifically ended up taking a few sewing classes just so I could kind of make the clothes. So I did the clothes for Nick, and then I did the Jumbo Pop. And that shot right there is my first A&E 2 years ago. And it was quite challenging walking around with the Jumbo Pop, as you'll see from a couple of slides on there.
What material did you make it out of the pop?
It was all styrofoam.
Oh, really?
Yep, just
Oh,
like
yeah,
styrofoam.
Nice and light.
It got a little...
Were you here last year, right?
Yes.
Oh, remember they had like 3 Nicks from last year?
Yes, yeah.
I was
it's
one of them.
You were one of them, nice.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
You
yeah.
remember me? Yeah.
The pose with you two, acting like I was going crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you still have that photo on Fur Affinity?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw that one.
Oh, yeah. You getting arrested.
But this one was a little different. Like, I'm seeing double.
It's like
Oh, yeah.
3 Nicks from another dimension. All
Yeah, the pop is exceedingly heavy and awkward carrying it around. It probably weighs about 15 pounds with so much paint, glue on it, clear coats, ended up weighing quite a lot, but it was quite a fun prop. Probably definitely my favorite one, actually. And then, I'm like, you know what, I'm having so much fun as this character, I just want to kind of run wild and do different variants of Nick. So the one I do at the Rhode Island Bowls a lot is Officer Nick Wilde, and that I have a lot of fun with. So again, I did the clothes. And much more simpler to walk around too. You're not carrying that jumbo pop, and I can actually somewhat pull in it. So just do that. So this picture is my favorite because if you look really close, this is around Comic Con, and that's me going up obviously escalator. But if you look, there's a sign right there, and that was captured the second before my jumbo pop collided with the sign.
Oh!
Yeah, that happened. The sign stopped swinging around. I had no clue until I got up there and I looked back, like, what is that sound? It's just flopping in the back. People are looking. Also, at Rhode Island Comic Con, I had another near encounter. I don't know if anyone's been to Providence Mall and you walk on the Sky Bridge there. Walking around with the jumbo pop, and I took a chunk out due to one of the sprinklers. So thank God somehow I didn't set the sprinkler off.
Oh. Con
So
horror
just a
stories.
note with big props, be careful.
At least in here, the sprinklers are like on the top of the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moon actually was a lot larger, and I kind of cut that down because I didn't run into some big issues. So then I decided getting a little goofy with some of the variations here. That was it for a pop when the theme was thriller. With Nick Wilde, the Infinity Gauntlet, you know, Infinity Gauntlet, terrible puns and such. If you can imagine Nick as a baseball player, obviously his favorite team would be the
Paw socks.
Paw socks.
Yeah.
Boston Red Fox.
Oh, wow.
And then obviously one of his favorite things on the side would be gambling because he's quite a hustler. So a lot of the shots were taken by Zeke. He was a Purple Husky. You've probably seen him dance, and he's an amazing photographer as well. So definitely encourage anyone. He does that professionally, and he's taken some of these wonderful shots here. So shout out to Zeke too. The next thing I ended up doing was Rocket Raccoon. That was a lot of fun. The gun took me about 250 hours to make. Same thing, I led the furry stuff for the professionals here and did the clothes and the props for. And then someone sent me along that picture right there. Obviously with Nick cosplaying as Rocket Raccoon, and I actually fell in love with it. So that's definitely coming next. Maybe at Furpop, maybe at A&E. That's what I definitely want to do next. So I think that's going to be fun. And instead of Groot on my shoulder, I think it'll be a little bit in his outfit suit. So I think that'd be pretty fun to do. This was definitely my favorite moment cosplaying as Officer Wild there. I believe that was Boston Con, if I'm not mistaken, and I ran into a Disney artist, James Mulligan, and he actually worked on the movie. He did some storyboards and some art. And I saw this picture, and we started chatting, and it was the original, and I purchased it. Really nice guy. It's just cool to actually meet one of the artists that actually worked on Zootopia. It was quite the moment there. I fell in love with his art, and at the same time, I commissioned Robin to show a picture of, and he did it right there at the show. So it's just favorite time there. Just a little picture below is just my persona there, and I always post derpy pictures of myself on Twitter and different wild get-ups. So.
Holly, there's a Holly. There's a Holly to MP4 there.
It's not working, so but I will repost it on Twitter. There's a very funny moment where I was at the Rhode Island Bowl, and not very good at bowling in my paws, and I'm not paying attention, and the lane clear is coming, and I bowl underhand, and it hits the clear, bounces back. Like, okay, I go to hit the ball, and I just completely fall, not realizing the floor is all waxed. So someone caught that, and a lot of good laughs there. And it just keeps replaying me going out there and just falling down.
Awesome. Thanks, Tokala. That's awesome.
Thank you for what you do.
All right, so we got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to open it up now. If anyone would like to, share what Zootopia means to them.
Yeah, sorry for the late arrival, but yeah, I've been waiting for this movie ever since I first learned about it. Like in early 2014, of course, since I'm a furry. I mean, and I knew Disney was going to deliver, but this exceeded all our expectations. Because in terms of the reviews it got, like on Rotten Tomatoes, 99%. And, how it was the number one grossing movie at the box office for a few weeks, and also even beating out Frozen. And we all know Frozen was a hit movie.
Yeah.
Disney's biggest is The Lion King.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, Zootopia Bob.
And for me, like, I remember as a little girl, I would watch Disney movies like Bambi, Dumbo, and I watch a lot of anthropomorphic cartoons. But what it means to me mostly is like I noticed in middle school, when kids become teenagers, like everyone would watch like teen sitcom shows, but it's not something I really like. I like cartoons with anthropomorphic animals. So when I saw Zootopia, I was really happy, and these movies inspired me to become an animator. So yeah,
Awesome.
I'm learning to make animations. So that's what Zootopia means to me.
That's great. That's great. That's awesome to hear.
Well, one thing, Zootopia, first of all, when it first came out, I saw that teaser trailer and I thought that, all that stuff about, anthropomorphic animals and, predator and prey, that's all old hat to us furries.
Right.
And the thing is that, first of all, it provides a kind of a positive image of the furry fan, which was much needed back then because you like that. As you may know, we were still trying to get rid of the bad image by
Sure.
the early part of fandom.
Sure.
Like fur and loathing, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And then of course there's the issues that talk about like politicians trying to grab power by creating fake fake crises. That's really, we all know that's happened before.
Right. Yeah. Dan, did you want?
Yeah, another thing I'd also like to bring up, really, when I first saw the movie at Showcase Cinemas in Randolph when it came out, watched it with my brother and some friends who were also Disney fans. Like how the part when Judy Hopps got onto the train, rode it to Zootopia, saying goodbye to her parents, they were a little worried. That reminded me of when I went to my first furry convention in August 2014, the old Maltese Fur Con.
Awesome. Nice.
I was going to say that, there are stereotypes that are not proven in the movie and some that are, But there are things you see, yeah, there's the fat cop or whatever. But what is he? He's a cheetah. You think of them as being fast and everything, but he's not typical in that way. And you have a fox. Oh, people are just going to see a fox is shifty.
You mean Volpine American? Please.
Oh yeah. if people are only going to see a fox as shifty or whatever like that, then then what else do I do? And by the way, in British slang, to nick something is to steal it, or a cop can nick a criminal. So I wonder if that was part of the name.
Yeah. Do you want?
I think Zootopia was like a really good, I have been in the furry fandom for maybe over a year now, because I went to A&E last year, and that was my first convention ever, so now I'm back, and this is my second convention ever. But I love, probably my favorite part of the movie is when it's right after the climax, and right after the whole there's a bunch of animals fighting, and I think someone, maybe a gazelle or something like that, screams to leopard or something, saying or not a leopard, a cheetah or something, saying go back to the jungle, and then she says, oh, I'm from the savannah.
Right.
I think that's so telling. I don't know, that moment really stuck with me because that's so telling of there's so much racial inequality, and there's a lot of it's a huge euphemism for it. Especially here in America, where everybody's so diverse, it's a melting pot of so many people. So I really love the detail that they really put into the movie, into not equating, but the stereotypes that certain animals have could be compared to stereotypes that humans have.
Right.
And I think what makes it so great, and I think what makes the message so great is that it's not technically about humans, it's about animals.
Right.
So it makes not only easier to understand the concept, but also for kids to understand that concept in a way that, it's a way that anybody can understand, because they put it you could have the same exact storyline with humans, but it wouldn't really go as well as if you put animals, because animals are a worldwide thing.
Right.
Everybody loves animals basically. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the level of detail and care that they put into this movie, I think, is really amazing. And I think if they do come up with a sequel, I hope that they keep all the original artists and all the directors and everything, so that it comes out at the same level of quality that the original movie came out with.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Don't you think movies like Zootopia inspire positive feelings in the community and the urge to get out and meet more, and that in turn has generated more groups getting together, the formation of meetups? I know there's a Rhode Island meetup group, right? And there is
Boston, yep.
Yeah, in Boston. So I just think that movies like this do two things. They inspire people to come together, and that's a great social outlet. It gives positivity to their interest. And I think it also promotes the messages that, as you said, are so culturally needed right now. So who knows on both points, the message and getting together in meetups. So
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have
absolutely.
meetups in the areas where you all come from?
Everyone should, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You know, had both a great message and helped a lot of furries. You know, kind of realized that they weren't alone. I think I've seen that a lot reading about the movie.
And there are some very funny parts and also very sad parts,
Yeah.
like when Nick tries to join the Junior Rangers and he gets thrown out and he starts crying, and even I'm crying thinking about it. It's happened to us,
Yeah,
so we can identify with it. That's the whole thing.
yeah. Anyone who hasn't shared, we have like 2 minutes left. Anyone who hasn't want to say anything? Anyone who has shared want to say anything else, or?
Oh, okay. I was just gonna point out about something. During March 4th, does anybody notice that in your community celebrate the film's release that day?
Oh, like the anniversary?
Yeah, the anniversary. I noticed some guy in Florida that goes to the Zootopia party.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
During March 4th.
I'll have to get one started. Nice.
If they do a sequel, it's still going to be a few years off. They haven't even announced.
Yeah, yeah.
Be
Let's hope.
patient.
I mean, like as much as I love Zootopia, and I feel like you almost can't improve on it. Like, mainly, I would love to just go back to the world, explore all those parts that we haven't
There's
seen.
fan
see
fiction, there's fan art.
Right, see where Nick and Jude's relationship goes. What was that?
Yeah, Shanghai Disney.
Oh yeah, Shanghai Disney.
Weeks ago that there will be a Zootopia land opening in Shanghai Disney.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, who knows? And there are rumors they may do something similar at the Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what happens there. But it is 11, so I gotta wrap it up. But thank you all so much for coming out.
Well, let's do it next.